No one ever imagined that the meeting of two big names who have shaped world pop history would rekindle a wave of emotions of this magnitude. After a long time living different lives, in silence, in the military, on a personal journey never really known to the public, Park Jimin and Jungkook, two BTS members who once shared stages, dreams, and tears, are now back standing side by side in front of the camera. Only this time, not for a concert, not for a variety show, but for something deeper. A project that touches the very core of human relationships, about loss, regret, and the meaning of coming home. That day, the Seoul sky looked overcast. From outside the production building located in Mapo District, some fans have been waiting since dawn. They carried banners bearing Jungkook and Jimin's names, but neither of them really knew what was going to happen inside. Rumors have been circulating for weeks that the two will appear together in a documentary about the BTS members' emotional journey after enlistment. But no one knows how much the meeting will shake the hearts of many people. When the door of the rehearsal room opened and the two figures stepped in, there was an instant of silence. Jimin wore jet black hair and highlighted his soft eyes, while Jungkook wore a gray hoodie and a black mask that partially covered his face. They stop a few steps from each other like two timelines that finally meet after a long distance. There was no music, no staff voices, only the breath of the two of them that felt like it was hanging in the air. The camera spins slowly, capturing the first seconds of something so simple yet amazingly rare. The meeting of two hearts that once understood each other deeper than words. Jungkook looked at Jimin, trying to hold back a nervous smile. In the corner of his eye was doubt, or perhaps a guilt that had been held back for too long. While Jimin, with a warm but quivering look, just said quietly, "You look fine." That simple sentence, which in other languages may sound ordinary, actually feels like an explosion of feelings that are never conveyed. Jungkook chuckled, lowered his head, then replied, "I don't know what to say." Off camera, some of the staff lowered their heads, pretending to be busy, because they knew a moment like this is too sacred to be disturbed. Since they are both serving in the military, the public knows the relationship between the two had been stretched. Many rumors circulated, from differences in views on music, pressure from agencies, to personal misunderstandings. But no one knows for sure what really happened. What is clear, they are rarely seen together, even in officially released group photos. Many fans are worried. Many are trying to calm down in the belief that their brotherhood will never completely disappear. Meeting in front of the camera is like opening a closed door. In the interview session that accompanied the shooting, the director asked Jimin how he felt when he met Jungkook again. He was silent for a long time, then said in a hoarse voice, "There are things that cannot be explained in words. There is a feeling of guilt, but also warmth. Maybe this is our way of forgiving each other without having to say it." Jungkook, who was sitting next to him, looked straight ahead, then added quietly, "I think I waited too long for this moment." After that, they started talking about the days before the draft. Jungkook recalls his rehearsal days at Big Hit Studio, when the two of them often practiced vocals late into the night, scolding each other, then laughing again. "He always said I was stubborn," Jungkook said, smiling at Jimin. "But if it wasn't for him, I probably wouldn't have survived in those days." Jimin looked down, his eyes a little teary. "I just want him to keep singing," she replied, "because his voice is too precious to just disappear." Those words were like opening old memories for the fans watching from the screen. Many recall the times when the two often performed together in duet songs, or when they supported each other in solo projects. Their relationship always seemed like something more than just co-workers. There was an honesty and mutual trust rarely seen in a harsh industry like K-pop. But time and the pressures of fame do have a way of creating distance between even the two closest souls. A few days after that first shoot, social media was filled with snippets of short videos uploaded by the production team. In the footage, Jimin and Jungkook are seen sitting in an empty rehearsal room, accompanied only by an acoustic guitar. Jungkook plucked the strings softly, then sang a verse from their old song, "Promise." Jimin looked at her, then sang along in the chorus. Their voices combined again, soft, fragile, but honest. At the end of the song, the two were silent for a long time. Then Jimin said quietly, "I guess I've forgotten this feeling." Jungkook replied, "Me too." Comments from fans flooded the internet. I'm crying to see them both again," one army member wrote on Twitter. "It was like seeing two halves of the heart finally come together again." Many wrote that the moment was not just about two idols meeting, but about a journey of healing after an invisible wound, about the courage to admit pain, and about how true friendship always finds its way home. But behind the scenes, the process isn't easy. One of the production staff who declined to be named said that both Jimin and Jungkook had doubts before accepting the project. "They both have a lot of unfinished business between them," he said. "But once they decided to meet, we all knew it was going to be something special." The documentary project, tentatively titled The Moment We Return, will reportedly air on global streaming platforms early next year. In one of the other scenes, Jungkook is seen walking alone outside the military base where he used to serve. The camera follows from behind, capturing his calm but heavy steps. "He told me about the long nights in the dorm, about the loss he felt when he could no longer sing in front of his fans, and about a letter he wrote but never sent, a letter purportedly addressed to Jimin. I write about how I regret not saying the things I should have said first," she said. "But time has gone too fast." Meanwhile, Jimin in an interview admitted that the period of conscription gave him time to think again about many things. "I realized how easy it is for us to assume everything will always be the same," he said. "I thought that if I didn't forgive myself and others, I wouldn't be able to move forward." His remarks feel like reflections born of wounds, not theories of motivation. And maybe that's what makes it so touching, because it comes from someone who really went through that storm. The last day of filming became the culmination of this whole emotional journey. They chose a modest location, a small hall on the outskirts of Seoul, with warm lighting and plain wooden walls. No fancy sets, no visual effects, just 2 chairs and a microphone in the middle of the room. They will perform a new song, which is said to have been co-written during the process of this documentary. The title, Start Again. Before the song began, Jimin took a deep breath and said in front of the camera, "We started from the same stage. We fell, got up, quarreled, then remained silent for too long. But today, I want to believe that nothing is really missing." Jungkook looked at her, his eyes glazed over. "I think I've lost you," he said softly. "But it turns out that you are always here." Music began to play, soft, almost like a prayer. The lyrics talk about the journey of two people who got lost, but finally found their way home through memories and the courage to forgive. As the song ended, Jimin lowered his head, covering his face with his hands, while Jungkook stood up and hugged him. Their cries sounded real, not part of the scenario. Behind the camera, many of the staff were moved to tears. "We all knew it was a moment that would never be repeated," one of the crew said later. "It wasn't a scene. It was the truth spilled in front of the camera." A few days later, footage from that moment was officially released. The internet exploded again. Many wrote that it was the most sincere reunion in K-pop history. Some major Korean media highlight it with different headlines: "Tears of two brothers on the screen," "Jimin and Jungkook finally reconciled." Some even call it the moment that healed the world. All agreed, no one can imitate such emotional frankness. But it's not just fans who are touched. Other BTS members reacted as well. Taehyung wrote on the Weverse platform, "I watched it at night. I cried involuntarily. You two make me want to sing again." Suga wrote briefly, "That's what I've been waiting for. Not a new song, but an old truth finally spoken." Jin, known as the group's protective figure, sent a personal message to the production team, thanking them for putting together the piece of heart that had been lost.